In this installment of the Strength Training at Home series, we're going to take a look at a pulling movement known as a row. And rows are very similar to a push-up in reverse. A lot of your setup is going to look very similar, just some things are going to be mirrored. So your grip width is still going to be just outside of your shoulder width. Your body is going to be fully extended, so you're going to be squeezing your abs, your quads, and your glutes, and you don't want to let your hips sink, and your arms are going to be fully extended in the starting position. The thing that you're going to be grabbing onto, in my demo here, I'm holding onto a bar, but more likely you're going to be grabbing onto something like a kitchen table at home. But yeah, any surface where you can get under, you can grab onto it, and the height is tall enough that when you're hanging from it fully extended, you're going to be able to have straight arms. So when you're getting ready to do the movement, after you've taken care of all of your setup, similar to the push-up, you're going to keep your elbows in close to your body. So as you start to pull, you're going to think of pulling your elbows in and behind your body. Once you get started on that movement, you're going to keep going until your chest either physically touches the object that you're rowing to, or if you're not rowing to a physical object, you're going to row until your chest is at least in line with your wrists. And that'll be your full range of motion. On the descent, you want to, under control, lower yourself by extending your arms. Nothing exaggerated. You don't have to take a super long time on the descent, but you don't want to just free fall back into the bottom position. So we'll take a look at a few reps so you can see what that looks like, and I'll just sort of comment on what's going on. So as you can see, my elbows are staying close in to my body and getting pulled behind my back. My body stays that straight line throughout. The only real movement is going to be happening at my shoulders and my elbows. So those are the basics of the row, and the inverted row in this case. There are a lot of different ways that you can make the row both easier and more difficult. So depending on where your strength level currently is at, if you need to make these easier, one way that looks very similar to this setup, just make one small change, is you can bend your knees and bring your feet closer into your body. So what that'll do is it'll require you to row less of your body weight. Another way that you can make it easier, probably the easiest version you can do, is if you can set up in a doorway. You can put your arms, or you can put your hands on each side of the doorway, and you can pull yourself through the doorway. You'll just hold onto each side, lean back, and row yourself into the doorway. Another way you can do it that's slightly more difficult than that is you can use a bed sheet, tie a knot in that bed sheet, throw it over a door, close the door with the knot on the opposite side, and you can row yourself using that bed sheet. So obviously your grip and things in your setup are going to be slightly different. You're just going to be holding on to whatever you're using. And you want to make sure, again, that you're not going to break your door, and that your knot is not going to fail on you. Safety first. You don't want to take a tumble or break your door. But that is another way that you can do an easier version of the row. If you want to make it more challenging, One way you can do that is very similar to the version that we just looked at is just to elevate your feet on something like a chair. That'll put more of your body weight that you have to row to that surface or ledge. You can add a pause at the top of each rep, or you can slow down the tempo of your rep. You can also add resistance to the movement. You can use a loaded backpack. That is one pretty straightforward, easy way to add resistance to the movement. And you can just wear that backpack backwards so that it's on your stomach, so that you don't have to worry about the backpack hitting the ground. You can also use resistance bands, but those are not as likely for you to just necessarily have lying around the house. So that's a few ways that you can make the movement match your current level of strength wherever you're at, and how you can progress it as you get stronger. I'll include a playlist in the description below that'll have demos of several of the variations that I described, and hopefully this video has been helpful to you. And if you want to leave me a comment below if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. If you want to subscribe, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to keep up to date or follow me as I release more videos on here, I'd appreciate that. Good luck with your rows. Hopefully this was helpful, and good gains.